Kings Park and Botanic Gardens is one of the world's great public park spaces. Now, it is enormous, over 400 hectares in actual fact, which makes it 25% bigger than Kew Gardens in London and considerably bigger than New York's Central Park. It's home to so many beautiful natural species. There's 224 natural, native occurring plant species here, and over 3,000 unique species found from across Western Australia are on display at any one moment in time. There's 215 different fungi species and over 80 different birds, so it gives you just a small insight as to just how spectacular the natural environment is here. And the best thing of all, it's right on the doorstep of our beautiful city. Carter-Gurrup, as it was known by the Aboriginal people of the region, the Whadjuk people, is home to many campsites and ceremonial places. It would have been the perfect point to look out over the land and see approaching travellers. The very first whitefellas arrived here with the Swan River Colony and Sir James Stirling arriving, but it was John Septimus Roe, our first Surveyor General, that identified this piece of land as being vitally important for all West Australians and setting it aside. Unfortunately, that didn't stop them from logging the magnificent giant jarrah trees that existed here, which became the very first export from the colony. Roe travelled up and down the state over his 20 years as surveyor and still had time for 13 children, before settling into the Swan Valley at a place known as Mandoon, which happens to be home to the oldest Verdelho grapes in Australia and a pretty impressive winery. The park was renamed from Perth Park to Kings Park back in 1901. It was named after King Edward VII, who ruled for just another 9 years before he passed away. And despite the fact that he never actually visited the park, one thing that he's left us is with one of the world's great public spaces with so many highlights, like this magnificent tree here. Known as Gidget Jamala, it became one of the world's biggest transplant projects back in 2008 when it was transported from its original home in Warmham to its new home here in Kings Park. It's thought to be about 750 years old and must have been a logistical nightmare for the team to move here. It's over 14 metres tall and 8 metres wide and weighs over 36 tonnes. Lottery West Federation Walkway is not far away, and it's a special experience to walk amongst the treetops and enjoy spectacular views of the city skyline along the 620 metres through the West Australian Botanic Garden, over an arch bridge which is suspended amongst the canopy of tall eucalypts. Since opening in 2003, it's become one of the park's most popular tourist attractions. The rusted steel structure of the bridge was designed to blend in with the trees, providing a potent reminder of the rusted steel of camps, farms and mines in the WA outback. There's some pretty impressive places to discover here at Kings Park, and this one's got to be one of the most important. This is the Rio Tinto Naturescape Playground, and it's the perfect place for kids that grow up in small gardens in a big city to come and explore on a grand scale and be able to play in a completely natural environment. It's over 6 hectares of area to explore. As house sites get smaller and play areas for kids diminish, spaces like this will be vitally important for future generations growing up in a city to come and do what kids should always be doing, playing in a natural setting. Of course, Kings Park has its restaurants and cafes and even a very impressive gift shop. And if you want just a single event as a reason to visit, then September is the month. That's when the world-famous Wildflower Festival runs for the whole month. And if you were to ask me what the most remarkable thing about Kings Park and Botanic Gardens is, well, it's got to be that everything here is free for all West Australians to enjoy. And it's the vision of this guy here, John Forrest. So make sure you do it this weekend.